Quick. Screen recording 3, 2, 1. Hey man. YouTube, you see it right here, man, live. I'm gonna react to how to transform yourself into a monster. Dr. Jordan Peterson. Straight to him. We gonna see what he's talking about because I already got my own idea of how to turn into a monster. We're gonna see what he's talking about and we're just gonna talk about it, react to it. Just like that, so let's get straight to it. Like the video for me and I fuck with you for fucking with me the whole time. I really, you know what I'm saying?
Self-evident that life has got its rat's nest of miseries, and that's for sure. And maybe you could even make a categorical statement that life is mostly a rat's nest of misery. You know, and you could make a pretty powerful argument for that. But then there's a counter question, which is, well, what if you tried not to make it any more miserable than it had to be? Then what would it be like? And my suspicions is that I would suspect that most of that misery would go away, because it's the unnecessary misery that really brings you down. You know, it's like, well, someone has cancer, it's like, that sucks. But it's not like you can say, if only we had done this differently, then that wouldn't have happened. But when someone's out like torturing you in a malevolent way, or maybe you're doing the same, you can always ask yourself, well, is this really necessary? Is this just like a useless add-on to the miseries of life? That's what disheartens people. And so even in your own life, if you aren't suffering from self-imposed misery, and you're only suffering from inescapable misery.
And my shit is live, these reactions is live. I'm just going off the dome. Like, I'm not the most educated, I'm not the most informed, I'm slightly ignorant. But at the same time, I try to be universal. I try to relate to everybody, because I know everybody got something I don't. Everybody got something I don't have, so, and I could use that, you know? Not even like with this YouTube shit, because me, I'm already go to this YouTube shit because there's no one else like me. You're not gonna find no one else like me. This is this cool, this thorough, this open with y'all. Like, cool. So you're not gonna find someone more comfortable with their mistakes than me. You know what I'm saying? Because I can just accept it like that. It already happened. Boom. Can't change. Just keep on moving. Type shit. That's just me, man.
Maybe you could handle that, and you could survive. You could bear it, and even maybe without becoming irredeemably corrupt. So the goal would be, well, yeah, life is a rat's nest of miseries, and maybe it has no ultimate meaning. We could say that if we're feeling particularly pessimistic, but it still leaves one question open, which is, if you didn't do everything you could to make it worse, how good could you make it be? And the least answer is, well, it could be tragedy, but maybe not hell. And I think that's right. I really believe that. That's the most pessimistic, proper statement. The worst case outcome in the worst of all possible worlds is that your life could be tragic but not hell, and that's a lot better than hell. And you think, I could give you an example of the difference. You're at your mother's deathbed. Well, that's tragedy. Here's another scenario. You're at your mother's deathbed and you and all your idiot siblings are arguing. Well, that's the difference between tragedy and hell. And you might be able to tolerate the first circumstance, and maybe it would even bring you closer together with your family members. The second one, no one can bear that. You walk away from a situation like that sick of yourself and sick of everything else too. And you know, it's often the case that tragic circumstances bring out the dragons, because the stress is high and all those things that people haven't dealt with, they don't have the energy to repress, and all the bitterness comes pouring forward.
When is the last time?
Like, I do want to break down everything he's saying and stop and put my take on it, but I do also know how people just want to let the vid ride and just listen to the man talk, and I'm just gonna take off the bigger piece. I'm just gonna talk about the bigger pieces I take from him. I'm saying that's how we're gonna do it.
And in relationship to your siblings, it's like, if you were all gathered around the bed of someone close who was dying, could you away? So that seems to me to be a lot better. That's what you always teach people in psychotherapy. I don't care what sort of psychotherapist you are. You're always teaching them the same thing. You're not the plan. You're the thing that can confront the obstacle to the plan. And then when you know even further that the obstacle is not only an obstacle but opportunity itself, well, then your whole view of the world can change, because you might think, well, I've got this plan, something came up to object to it. It's like, it's possible that the thing that's objecting has something to teach you that will take you to the place where you develop an even better plan. It's a nice framework to use. It's like, are you so sure that this is a problem? Is that the only way that you can look at it? Or is it an opportunity? I mean, I'm not trying to be, you know, naively optimistic. there are some things that's pretty hard to extract gold from some.
I gotta throw music in on these bitches. Don't forget to throw a small beat on these vids just in case they try to block your vid again, dog. Put a little beat behind all your vids, man, all your little reactions.
Dragons, and maybe the death of a family member is a good example of that. But even in a situation like that.
And know that too, YouTube, if you go on my channel and look at the vids and the da-da-da. I got like 20 vids that got blocked, bro. That shit real frustrating, cause this is just something I'm just missing. But
I can tell you, it's an opportunity for maturation, that's for sure. And the thing is, you might say, well, it's pretty miserable to be digging for gold when someone's falling into the grave. Well, if they really love you, first of all, that's what they'll want you to do. And second, you're going to make their death a lot more palatable experience for them. If you're someone who can be in the room and be helpful instead of be, you know, quivering in the corner and feeling that the entire world is collapsing in on you. I mean, that's another. You want to be the useful person at the funeral. How's that for a goal? That's a good goal, man. You know that you've got yourself together in a situation like that because you're going to be at them. And maybe you want to be the person on whose shoulder people cry. That'd be a good goal. It's kind of, you know, I don't like being naively optimistic, so when I tell you to get your life together,
pause, we gonna get to know me a little bit more right now because he really just hit on something that hit home for me, because this, personally for me, how I feel. Like, I don't speak on my ideas a lot because the average person gonna think it's wicked and it's just weird and it's just out of pocket and shit, like, but I've pictured this moment in my head, like, it's probably gonna, I mean, it's life. It's gonna come a day where we lose our loved ones, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna come that day. And I've played that day. I've played different scenarios on my head. I played my death. I played my siblings' deaths. I played my, you know, all that. It's sick, but it's true. And I've kind of trying to prepare myself for them things, you know what I'm saying? Because people that, all my life, people that died, it was people that was, like, in my corner. Not in my circle. No one in my circle ever got tragically hurt. And that, I'm not saying that makes me special in any kind of way, but that also let my ego believe that I'm the savior. And when I say that, I'm not saying I'm like the chosen one type of savior. I'm just saying, like, I'm the one who, like, I don't even know what video it is, man. I know y'all probably like, this nigga is all over the place. I can't remember what video it was, but I told you how I felt about who I am and what I'm meant to be. In the Soul Illuminati reaction video, I told you who I feel like I am and who I feel like I'm meant to be. I'm the sacrifice for my family and my friends. Like, I'm the one who's gonna walk into that fire when someone has to. If someone has to sacrifice something, I'm gonna volunteer quick as hell. That's just me. That's what I've just been trying to say this whole time. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not no macho man at all. I just know my role. Like, I just know my role. I just know somebody gotta be brave. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's being a, no, I'm saying there's a difference between motherfuckers trying to be macho all the time and someone who's just brave. Like, it's okay to be brave. You know what I'm saying? I was in a situation where the situation I was in where I learned that I realized everybody in my circle was scared. And, I don't know.
This is in sunshine. That's pablum for fools. But it really is something to be the reliable person at a funeral. And you can aim at that, you can do that, and you gotta be tough to do that because it also means that you can sustain a major loss without collapsing. And that, you've gotta be a monster to do that, right? Because you might think, and I've had clients like this, well, I love my child, I love my mother so much that I couldn't survive if anything happened to them. It's like, you have some serious thinking to do about that. You really want to curse someone with that kind of love, do you? I couldn't live without you. It's like, my God, get away from me. It's terrible. That's the Oedipal mother, right? That's like, I'll forgive you no matter what you do. It's like, really? No matter what I do, eh? You are not my friend. That's for sure.
What can you do that you possibly do that's worse than
Not at all. It's a horrible thing to do to someone. That's the witch in the Hansel and Gretel story.
Like, this
All
video really
gingerbread
getting to me,
outside
like,
to the
really
lost
getting
kid.
to me personally.
Inside,
I do not know why.
feed them candy,
Like, I
make
wanna
them
really-
fat, and eat them. Right, that's Hansel and Gretel. That's the Oedipal mother. That's one of Freud's major discoveries. It's a major discovery. The devouring force of love. You want the person to be able to stand on their own, and the price you pay for that is that you stand on your own. It's like, good to have you around, glad you're here, but if and when tragedy strikes either of us, I hope that one of us is standing when it blows past. And that there's a harshness about that that's unbelievably cruel, because you know, you say, well, if my mother died, I could live. Well, what kind of monster are you exactly? The death of your mother doesn't do you in? Well, it turns out that being a monster is the right thing. And that's a rough thing to learn, but it's necessary to learn, you know, because it also makes you.
Yo, I swear to God, I've been thinking like this, bro. That's why I was just saying, like, this shit kind of hitting home for me, cause I feel like I'm gonna send this vid to my family, or someone in my family who need to see this, and just know I've been on this. Like, I'm not learning. Like, no cap. I'm not learning shit right now. I'm just listening to the man. He's making me feel like I'm not crazy right now. Real shit.
You know, at some point, for example, as you get older, by the time you're in your mid-20s, something like that, you should start having a relationship with your parents that's approximately one of peers. And you can tell if you have that, so here's a little trick you can use. So you have parents, obviously, they have friends. You probably care what your parents think, I would imagine. Do you care what their friends think of you? And the answer to that is, well, not nearly as much. And so then I would say, well, why do you care what your parents think of you then? They're the same people. You know what I mean? It's just luck of the draw that your parents are someone else's kids' friends. They don't think the same way about them that you do. Well, that's where you see that you have a projection. By the time you're 30, if what your parents think of you matters more than what, say, a random set of their friends think of you, then you've still got your parents confused with God. That's one way of looking at it. You've still got them confused with an archetype.
Hold on. I'm gonna play that back.
Nearly as much. And so then I would say, well, why do you care what your parents think of you then? They're the same people. You know what I mean? It's just luck of the draw that your parents are someone else's kids' friends. They don't think the same way about them that you do. Well, that's where you see that you have a projection. By the time you're 30, if what your parents think of you matters more than what, say, a random set of their friends think of you, then you've still got your parents confused with God. That's one way of looking at it. You've still got them confused with an archetype. And you're.
I swear. I told my mother this, like, you was the only. She, you know, cause, mommy, I know a lot of y'all could relate. A lot of our daddies wasn't there, so our moms was the one who was the only source of, like, honest information, only source of love, only source of. You know what I'm saying, and you trusted that. You had all your faith in that. You thought your mom, this and that, and so you got older and realized they do got their flaws. They not right all the time. You realize that for yourself, but then tell me this if I'm wrong. Like, when you start trying to go against that, and they telling you wrong for that, y'all finish it for me, man. Y'all.
You're still a child, and you might think, well, it's pretty damn rude not to think about what your parents think of you anymore, not to care. It's like, yeah, it's kind of rude, but maybe you'll be useful for them when they get old.
You ever hear about people flipping stuff? Like flipping houses, flipping stocks, or flipping items on eBay?
I study people, like, I study, like, what, like, yeah, we all see what makes you great and what makes you you, but I really want to know what makes you weak, so I could put that in my game and cover that up, so I don't got the same weakness. I like to study people's weaknesses and put that in my game, so I don't got those same weaknesses. So, like, just one example with my
caring, you're going to be independent enough and strong enough and detached enough so that when the power dynamic shifts, which it will, you'll be the person that can carry things forward. Well, you can't do a better thing for them than that. That's the best of all possible outcomes for your parents. When you're down in chaos and you don't know what the hell's going on, you have to rediscover the values that have oriented people forever. That's what you have to discover. So, for example, when I'm dealing with people who have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they've usually encountered someone malevolent, they have to relearn the description of good and evil. Because if they don't, they have no framework. They're lost. They think, well, there's a malevolence afoot in the world, and I'm a prey animal, a naive prey animal for the malevolence of the world. It's like, well, good luck functioning under that set of assumptions, man. You just do not recover from that. You stay at home in your burrow. That's what you do. Well, you have to. You go down into that, you think, okay, well, malevolence is afoot. I better be the sort of person that can understand it and deal with it. And that's another.
Y'all see where we come from as people. Like, even if all the, like, true or not, I'm just gonna stick with it right now. The story of human beings, how we came about, hunters and gatherers. We had to do all this and that, figure out how to survive the wild, hide from predators, get shelter, get food, surviving. You know what I'm saying? We had to learn all that. We come from real savages. You know what I'm saying? It's in our blood, but through time and generation, everything we have making life easier for us is pampered a lot of motherfuckers. So a lot of us is weaker, physically and mentally. A lot of us really walk around this life as thinking they the prey. Don't know they got the power of God in their hand. They got the power. They got the power of a Mack truck just sitting in their head. You know what I'm saying? You could. Maybe you don't. Maybe I just be tweaking. But hey, this is why I'm doing YouTube, so I can know if I'm tweaking or not. This is why I'm doing this shit. So y'all let me know if I got it confused. Or if y'all feel what I'm saying, cause motherfuckers just don't really. So how to turn into a monster? How to turn yourself into a monster? I didn't get that from it, like how to turn yourself into. I feel like it's already in you, like beast mode. For example, like beast mode, you know, Martial Lynch, how you said beast mode, you can't turn it on, it's already in you, like, you know, and it's all about self-control too, and just principles, morals, and what you want to do. It's a lot, and where you even come from, your environment. Bro, there's a lot I could take from this. There's a lot I want to talk about just from this video, like, yo, 23 shit, man. Yo, that's that with this video. I'm on. It's gonna take long as fuck to upload too, man. Let's end it now. I'm going.